forget what you've seen in sci-fi movies. Right now, kind of under the radar, there's a huge technological shift happening. And I'm not talking about some far-off distant future. This is a full-blown revolution, and it's happening today. And look, we're not talking about small, little tweaks here and there. This is a fundamental rewiring of how basically everything gets done, from the factory floor all the way to the hospital ward. The next industrial revolution has officially arrived. So what's at the heart of all this? Well, it's a whole new generation of smart, adaptable machines. This is the real rise of industrial automation and robotics, and frankly, it's on a scale we've just never seen before. So check out this number, 19.5%. What is that? That is the projected annual growth rate for one of the key players in this story, autonomous mobile robots. That is a staggering speed, and it just goes to show how fast this change is really coming at us. Okay, first things first. Let's try to wrap our heads around the sheer scale of this thing. We're not just talking about a big market. We're talking about a market that has slammed its foot on the accelerator. I mean, just look at these numbers. In 2023, the industrial automation market was already worth a massive $227 billion. But by 2030, it's forecasted to hit $408 billion. That is nearly double in just 7 years. This isn't just growth, it's a market in complete overdrive. And this isn't just happening in one corner of the world. It is a truly global thing. The Asia-Pacific region is kind of leading the charge, but as you can see, Europe and the rest of the world are right there with them. This revolution is happening everywhere, pretty much all at once. So where is all this money going? Well, a huge chunk is in factory automation. That market is set to nearly double, hitting almost $200 billion by 2030. You can thank companies like Tesla, who are using this tech in their gigafactories to scale up car production like crazy. And then, of course, there's e-commerce. You know, all that online shopping we do? Well, warehouse automation is growing even faster at about 13% every single year. This is being driven by giants like Amazon and Walmart, who absolutely need these fleets of robots to keep up with our demands for super fast delivery. Now, inside this massive boom, there's one piece of technology that is a total game changer. So let's zoom in a little bit and meet the machines that are really leading the charge, autonomous mobile robots, or AMRs for short. So what is an AMR exactly? Okay, you gotta forget about those old school automated carts that were basically stuck following a painted line on the floor. AMRs are a massive leap forward. Think of them less like a train on a track and more like a self-driving car for a warehouse. They use all these cool sensors like LiDAR and computer vision to basically see and build a map of their surroundings so they can navigate around people and obstacles all by themselves. It makes them incredibly smart and flexible. And because they're so flexible, the market for these things is just exploding. It's projected to skyrocket from around $3 billion in 2025 to $17 billion by 2035. That's more than a five-fold jump in just 10 years. It's pretty wild. So that begs the question, right? What is lighting the fuse on this explosion? Why is all of this happening right now with such incredible force? Well, it turns out it's not just one thing. It's really a perfect storm of demand coming from all over the place. E-commerce is the biggest piece of the pie, sure, but the need is spread almost evenly across healthcare, industrial logistics, hospitality, and even agriculture. And to really get the e-commerce part, you just have to look at this number, $5.5 trillion. To manage that insane volume of packages, you need a level of speed and efficiency that humans just can't do alone. AMRs are fast becoming the backbone of every modern warehouse. But this goes way beyond just your online shopping packages. AMRs are already in hospitals, carrying critical medications. They're helping run farms. Get this, a whopping 70% of large U.S. crop farms are using their tech, and they're even delivering room service in some hotels. So who's actually building this automated future, and what are the real-world problems they're running into? Let's get into the business behind the bots. So here are some of the heavy hitters. You've got names like KUKA, ABB, and Omron. But what's really interesting here is that even the market leader, KUKA, only has about 12% of the market. What that tells you is that this industry is super fragmented. Because the tech is so new and it's being used in so many different ways, there's a ton of room for all these specialized companies to jump in and grab a piece of the action. And they're not all trying to do the same thing. This is a perfect example of two different strategies. You have a company like KUKA, which is targeting really complex, high-end manufacturing. But then you have Geek Plus, and they're focused on making cost-effective, AI-powered robots specifically for that booming warehouse market. But it's not all smooth sailing. I mean, this transition has some major bumps in the road. For one, this technology is really expensive to buy and to maintain. And then, trying to integrate it with all your existing systems is incredibly complicated. You need specialized experts, and that creates a huge barrier, especially for smaller businesses. Okay, so with all that in mind, let's zoom back out and look at the bigger picture. What does the money, the investment landscape, tell us about where all of this is headed? This is actually fascinating. The vast majority of these automation companies are privately owned. Now, what does that mean? It means a landscape like this, full of all these smaller innovators, is basically a hotbed for mergers and acquisitions. You can bet that larger, more established companies are going to start buying up these smaller players to get their hands on cutting-edge tech. So what's the bottom line here? What we're looking at is a massive industry that's not only growing incredibly fast, but it's also highly profitable. And with powerful forces like e-commerce and labor shortages pushing it forward, this whole sector is pretty much set for at least another decade of amazing performance. So what does all this data, all these numbers actually mean for you, for me, in the real world? It means the world around us is changing in a big way. It's fundamentally altering everything, from how a new car gets built to how that package shows up at your front door. Which, of course, leaves us with the final and maybe the most important question of all. We've seen the tech, we've seen the money, we've seen the momentum. But as this robot revolution picks up even more speed, what does it really mean for the future of our jobs, our economy, and, our whole society? That's the big question we all need to start thinking about.